The South African National Blood Services says type B plus and O plus are at a critically low level. The independent non-profit organization appeals to donors and those who are yet to donate to help by visiting their nearest blood donor center. For more on this conversation, we're joined by Thandi Mosupye, a senior marketing communications and brand manager at the South African National Blood Services. Thandi, a very good evening to you and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening and thank you for having us.
Let's start with the importance, first and foremost, of donating blood, especially around this time.
Thank you. As you know, donation of blood is very important for a number of reasons. Blood products are used for a number of uses, for instance, in trauma or in emergency situation, or where you've got patients that are undergoing treatment, for instance, such as cancer. So those patients would then need blood on a regular basis. In this particular period, it is particularly very important because, as you know, with the number of trauma incidences that are taking place, it becomes quite critical for us to have sufficient supply of blood. Notwithstanding and forgetting those patients that go on to regular treatments that will still need during this particular period to be serviced in terms of the use of blood.
So who effectively is eligible to donate blood? Can anybody just do it?
So anybody, yes, in theory, but anybody who is the age of 16, between the ages of 16 and 75, and they must be at least weighing 50 kgs and must be in good health. So in good health is you must first, as the person, consider your blood to be good for donation, blood that you can be able to give to somebody else. Of course, we do take the blood through rigorous testing when we receive the blood. But in essence, between the ages of 16 and 75, you are eligible to donate blood.
And how does one know if their blood is eligible or good to be used for donation?
Okay, first of all, I think it starts with you, the individual. You need to live a safe and healthy lifestyle. And then you can then go into our nearest donor centers where you can then be able to be tested. And at that stage, you will then, be able to know whether your unit of blood can be used or not.
So when you speak about these centers, how readily available are they? And can somebody just walk in to a center and say, I want to donate? Or do you have to have pop-ups, if I can call them that, for people to donate?
Okay, so we do have fixed donation clinics around South Africa. As you know, we operate in all our provinces with the exception of the Western Cape, which is handled by the Western Cape Blood Services, but we do work hand in hand with the Western Cape Blood Services in terms of blood collections. We also have mobile donor clinics around the country. And these could be set up at malls, various shopping centers, workplaces, schools, community halls, and so forth. So any place where we can be able to get a mass congregation of people that can be able to support a blood donation.
And how does the process work of donating blood? Do I just walk in to a center and just get my blood drawn and then we move on?
Okay, so the process of blood donation, if you are a first-time donor, you go into a blood donation center, you bring your identity document, and you then get registered on our system, and you fill out a health questionnaire. This health questionnaire will then ascertain if you are eligible to donate. And once you've gone through that particular health questionnaire, you are then taken through where you can lie on the bed and a unit of blood is also taken for testing. And once the sample has been tested and cleared, your unit of blood can then be used effectively. And then going forward, you are then regarded as a donor. You then have a donor number. And you can then be able to donate on a regular basis, and you receive communication from the South African National Blood Service in terms of when you are due for donation.
We normally see these blood drives happening, Thandi. Do South Africans respond positively to these drives that you constantly, like we are speaking right now, that there is a shortage? Do you find that South Africans are open-minded and open to such donations?
South Africans are open-minded to such donations. However, as a country, we are still experiencing very low number of blood donors. I think if you look at South Africa from a percentage-wise, only about 1% of the population are actually blood donors. And this is something that as South African National Blood Service, we are trying to get to increase that number so that we can have at least a little bit more people that are donating, which will then assist us in periods like this so that we don't have this kind of shortage that we are now experiencing.
Do we know some of the reasons why we have such a low number of donors, Thandi?
The reasons why we have such a low number of donors, first of all, is people being scared of needles. And I must assure you that it is really not as scary as it looks. So once you've gone through it, it is actually a fulfilling process to go through. We also have challenges from a health point of view with South Africans, as we know, just in terms of our health conditions as South Africa, where you find that there is fewer people that are eligible for actually donating. The other thing is also socio-economic conditions in the country where people will not necessarily prioritize, going to spend time at a blood donation, but are looking at other challenges that they have in the economy. So those would be some of the reasons why our blood donations, our blood donor numbers is very low. And then also finally, it's just a lack of knowledge around people understanding how important it is to give this unit of blood, because it is a critical life-saving unit of blood.
Where do we stand at the moment, Thandi, in terms of blood availability as you are calling out for people to donate more?
I must say it is looking quite bleak for us as South Africa. So I'd really like to urge South Africans to please go out in their numbers to go and donate. We are expected as the South African National Blood Service to have about 5 days worth of stock levels. We are currently sitting at 2.2 days cover, which is quite low in our standards, which means that if the numbers don't improve in the next couple of days, we may find ourselves having to implement, kind of restrictive measures, where we only supply blood in terms of emergencies and so forth. So it is quite critical for South Africans to please heed this call and go out and donate. I think before we go into the New Year's festivities, I would like us to please take up this call and make it a mission to donate. And those that are not able to go before, the New Year's, of course, to make it a New Year's resolution that, in 2024, I will become a blood donor and I will do this on a regular basis.
In terms of the blood types availability, where do we stand? So
in terms of blood types availability, we are very low on blood O, blood type, and blood B, group B. Blood O is the blood group that we use in emergencies. So where there is no cross-match unit of blood that is available, readily available, that is the blood type that we will then use. And blood O, because blood O can donate to any other blood type, is the blood group that we really, really need the most.
And just finally then, Thandi, what message can you give to South Africans that are watching, that are listening to this conversation, that maybe have never considered donating blood?
I think if you have never considered donating blood, and particularly if I would also make this call to the young people, is to please go out and donate this unit of blood. You have the blood, and it can be something that can be able to be used to save someone else's life. It is very, very important that we keep our stock levels up, particularly during this period. so that we make sure that we don't affect the service in terms of our health sector going forward.
Thandi Mosupye, thank you very much for coming through to speak to us. Senior Marketing Communications and Brand Manager at the South African National Blood Services.